Let's talk about North Korea a little bit. The leader of the North Korean regime, Kim Jong-Un, claimed that he is getting ready to go to war with the United States and what he describes as the puppet South Korean regime. He made this statement during Air Force drills, which he said were part of the preparation for war with the United States. He said the entire thing was intended to, quote, bring about a radical turn in the drills to round off preparations for a war full of the will to settle with arms, accounts with the U.S. imperialists, the chieftain of aggression, and the South Korean puppet group keen to escalate the confrontation with the fellow countrymen and that of social systems seized with sycophancy towards the U.S. That is a mouthful, if I've ever heard one before. Kim Jong-un claiming he is absolutely ready to go to war with the United States. He says, gone forever is the era when the United States blackmailed us with nukes. Now the U.S. is no longer a source of threat and fear for us, and we are the very source of fear for it. I think what's going on here is that things are not going well with regard to resources in North Korea. By many accounts, agriculture it's already almost at a complete standstill. Within the next 10 years, agriculture could come to a total standstill in North Korea. Coincidentally or not, this news comes just weeks after news broke that North Korea is facing one of the worst droughts in 100 years. Historically, when North Korea has economic or agricultural trouble, they'll threaten war, right? Countries will then help them out with their problems. They'll provide food, they'll provide supplies, and all of a sudden, North Korea doesn't want to go to war anymore. And then, of course, North Korea will spin this to their citizens saying, look, we threatened war with all the countries, or with a bunch of countries, and then those countries gave us gifts. They just were begging us not to go through with it because they're scared of us. We're just the best. And you might say, well, why bother? Why bother giving North Korea anything after they threaten war? If North Korea falls, we could have a sort of warlord style situation where things get even worse for the North Koreans. And we have a ton of treaties with South Korea promising aid in case North Korea ever does certain things. This includes economic treaties. So there would be a chain of events that could happen if the situation in North Korea goes, what would be the term for it? Feral? I don't even know what to describe it. If things completely fall apart, even worse in North Korea. So there are a number of reasons why this would happen. I think that more than likely, this is indeed nothing more than the sort of combination of belligerent rantings and a thinly veiled attempt to draw in more aid. And I agree with some of the logic of why it makes sense to prevent North Korea from completely falling apart. It would be, if it's hard to imagine this, but it would be even worse for the average individual in North Korea. But we will continue to see what happens. As producer Lewis has said before, and maybe we'll ask him about this when we check in with him on the bonus show from the road, Lewis has said he would indeed lead a military coup of North Korea if he could. What do you think the U.S. should do with regard to North Korea? It's a true humanitarian crisis. And we've heard so many times from the U.S. when it comes to foreign policy that a humanitarian crisis was the reason for going into country A, B, or C. It just so happened that country A, B, or C generally also had a resource that we wanted or was advantageous to secure. Not the case in North Korea. Almost no resources there that would be of any value, even to them, never mind to us, and not taking action there. So a lot of people pointing that out to me in the email lately, and I'm curious to see what your thoughts are. After the break, Dr. Aubrey de Grey will join me again to talk about curing the problem of aging. That is next.